Well, we're going to keep talking about reviewing with tip number 4, and that's reviewing your insurance policies to make sure you are not underinsured or don't have a particular insurance in a certain category. So maybe it's life insurance that you've been neglecting. You know you need it and you want to get it, but it's just one of those things. The days are long, but the weeks, months, and years go by fast, and you haven't signed up for that type of insurance yet. Maybe it's your home. Things have changed, and maybe now your home is really underinsured. The replacement value or the cost to replace your home in the event of a disaster, maybe that's no longer in line with the current economy that we have. Car insurance, medical insurance. Medical is pretty easy if we're employed because annually we have this open enrollment period where you're being asked to review your plan and either change it or stay status quo. But if you don't have that reminder with your other insurance policies, you may not be doing it.
No, that's right. So the annual reminder is good. Open enrollment is another opportunity. We talked about spring cleaning, but open enrollment gives you kind of that second reminder during the year. And maybe that's when this mentality starts. Maybe there's an action or two that you can do between open enrollment if that affects you in your life. And if it doesn't, just know that it's coming around. And again, put open enrollment on your personal calendar, even if you don't participate in it, and just have that as a reminder and pick a time during the year that it works for you. It doesn't have to be formal to somebody else's schedule if you're not attached to that. So I think that's great.
And sometimes this whole task is overwhelming because we don't know what to do in these situations.
That's
I don't
right.
know what the best car insurance is or the best provider or what type of life insurance do I need. I don't even know. So finding an insurance agent that you can trust and work with, someone who you don't feel like is just selling to you so they can make their quotas, but someone who is truly educating you, that's where you want to start. And don't settle for that person. Keep interviewing agents until you find the right person who can help you.
Absolutely. We want to team up, right? We want partners. There's a reason that, most people don't set off and try to build their own house if they're building a house, right? You hire a contractor, you hire general trades, you get somebody to come help you with those things. Maybe even something as simple as lawn care. Maybe that's just out of your wheelhouse. Every time you've taken care of the lawn in the past, it's died, right? You weren't doing a good job. So you find a lawn care guy. I mean, there's a reason that these professionals exist and they can add a lot of value. Taxes are another great example. Get a tax pro to help you with your taxes. They pay for themselves. And
Exactly.
but talking about insurance, one of the things that jumped into my mind about this category, we talk about being underinsured all the time, or maybe being overinsured, right? So we want to make sure that the balance is there, right? And so not just underinsured, but if you're overinsured, there might be an opportunity to scale back. Maybe you're carrying some insurance. Maybe you've gotten a whole life policy, right? And you've been maintaining that for a while. Those tend to be fairly expensive, and there's lots of different variables out there. There's lots of different applications, but in general, we can speak to the whole life um, policies as an expensive option that don't apply in most people's situations. And so that would be an area where you could look to maybe scale back and convert that over into a term life policy or a different type of policy that got you the coverage you need without having to spend too much for it, right? So we want to be very aware, and you just want to make sure that again, your tax professional, or not tax in this case, but your insurance agent can help you kind of navigate that and have that conversation and figure out what the best fit is for your situation.
And that's a great segue into our next set of tips because now we want you to be proactive and try to get some money back out of the things that you're spending money
Hmm.
on. So this next tip is if you're using apps where money comes to you. So for example, in my case, I use Venmo. And I also use an app called Upside. Upside is for gas. So when I spend money on gas, I'm earning cash back. If I just leave that money sitting on that app, or it's when somebody pays me, they're paying me for whatever reason, and I have money sitting in my Venmo app. That money's not doing me any good.
No,
Let
it's
me
not.
take that out, whether I'm doing it monthly or quarterly, but not let it just sit there. Take it out. And maybe you feel like, what, I don't want it to sit there at all. And I'm going to take it out daily. Whenever that money comes in, I'm like transferring it out. Get it out of those apps. Use it towards your goals.
Yeah, money sitting around. This one hits home for me because I've shared with you, Christine, that we've got a long term incentive plan out that sits out there, and it drives me crazy because it's intended to be a long term incentive, and so they've cut it up into portions that can once they're vested can be divested, right? So that means I can move that money either into an investment or into a savings account or whatever I want, but I can't do that until they're vested. And so, unfortunately, there's a balance out there that just sits in a cash account. So that one hurts a little bit because it's a larger balance, right? It's a bigger sum of money. But even when you're talking about these small ones, right? Don't let that money sit there. Make sure that you know what your plan is and that you're putting all of your assets into the correct accounts, into the correct positions to help you achieve the goals that you're setting up for yourself. And that's where, all of these things, they are separate tips, but they're all related, right? If you've got the framework,
Oh,
if you've
yeah.
got the structure, if you've made the decision to be intentional, what does that mean for you? And if you're making goals and setting up your value system and really understanding, how am I going to filter my decisions? How am I going to drive this project forward? This project of, my personal finances. How am I going to make a little change this year that's going to have some added value, right, to the decisions that I make and the work that I do. And I think that's where all of these things really work together, right? We want to put them all in practice and really do things that are going to complement each other rather than have all of these little individual